Okay, got the inside all cleaned out. Got my eyes and mouth and nose cut out. All right, so inside, and I'll just kind of show you what I do. I was using this little carve and jack thing, worked out pretty good for me too. Was just taking this and scooping. But like I said earlier, any kind of a spoon carving tool or a gouge. I was using this. Let's see, is this the one? Find the one I was using. Any of these curved gouges. This little flex cut set's got a bunch of little curved gouges in it, different sizes. Any of those will work. Just getting that inside out. Not too bad. It wasn't too bad at all, actually. That came out pretty quick. But just get all that inside out as much as you can. It just seems to make the light reflect a little better when it's got a little more depth in the back of it. But I didn't have to nearly go as deep on the back side as I did on the front side, just to get it down to where I could get through this. And you don't want this real thick on the front part, just because it's not going to let as much light through, and try to open up the face a little bit. And the other thing that helps too is on the back side, just go in and clean it out a little bit. See, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I kind of cut it at a little bit of an angle right here on the inside. After I got it all cut out and cleaned out, I kind of cut this at a little bit of an angle, so it kind of projects the light into the eyes. And then you're going to paint the inside of the eyes black, because that helps get the reflection, gets the light through too. It's not being absorbed by the orange or the color of the wood. So by painting it black on the inside, you know, the teeth and the eyes, it kind of helps get that light, reflects that light out more. Just these little things, just things I learned when I was making my first one, that I had to go back and do a couple things. But I got it all hollowed out, got the eyes all cut out, everything fits back together. So we're just going to put some finishing touches on it, except for the grooves. Now, I'm not going to do the grooves until I have it glued all back together, because my center groove is going to come right down here where the seam is, the seam line. So those are the first two grooves that I put on there. So I cut my little grooves in here, and then I just spaced them out to the edges, to the corners. As you can see on this one, it kind of gives it that rounded, even though it's kind of flat and narrow, it gives it that little bit of a rounded look. It's just a little technique you can use when you're trying to make something look round, and especially on a pumpkin. So you guys, I know you guys can all carve pumpkins. If you're a beginning wood carver, you should be able to carve a round shape by now, and just, you know, get your shape to where you like it. I'm pretty well happy with this, even though it was a rectangle. It looks somewhat round. And on the back side here, where it's flat and you don't have a lot of roundness, just go through there and put little chips. Just take some little chips off. Now, if you want it to have the flat plane look of the carved wood, then you don't have to, you know, just go ahead and go through here and just take little chips out, and that'll help give it that wood carved look, and go all over the whole thing, so you can get get all the surface, the factory surface off the wood. Now on that one, I sanded it. So I sanded down most of the roughness, just to give it a nice smooth looking paint job. I sanded it down. So it's the call's up to you, whether you want to sand it or if you want to leave it that wood carved look. I think on this one, I'm probably going to leave it that wood carved look, you know, of the flat planes. But that first one, I just kind of wanted to mess around with it and see what it looked like if I sanded sanded it down and gave it a nice smooth finished surface. So if you're going to do that, you don't really have to worry about this too much, although it does help if you're you know, trying to get it round a little bit. But just go in here and just get all these cut up to the hat. Cut them all up into the hat so it sits under the hat. Shape your hat how you like. I curved this one down, this one up. I wanted two different looking pumpkins. So this one's kind of got a little bit of a taller hat, a little more skinny. And on the top it's got a little different little fold over. The other thing is I curved it this way, and I'm curving it in. So if you want to make that curved look, take a little bit out of this side. On the inside right here, you can just carve that in and give it kind of a bowed look. And then on the top, just carve it towards a little bit of a curve towards the top, and then let it go a little bit in towards the bottom. Down here at the bottom, like I said earlier, you can just take your knife and right here where they join together, just roll it up in there. Because I didn't have a lot of hat in the front right here, because I used a rectangular piece of wood. Like I said, I could have used a bigger more square piece of wood and could have got everything real nice and round. But I was just working with what I had, a couple pieces of wood that I had, and I think it turned out pretty good. Actually, I'm really happy with it, and everybody I've shown. Last night I took it to the carving club, and they all liked it. And so just go around, clean everything up, get up under this hat, get you some nice good edges up under there, clean all that up, get your nice carved out piece. Like I said, back here, just go around this thing and give it some chip marks, just so it looks finished with the wood carve look. Okay, bring it in towards the face. That's one thing about I left the front done until I got my eyes and everything cleaned out and carved out. And then, because I already had that in there, I could roll this back over top of it a little bit, and the eyes are still in there, and I didn't affect them any. So that way you can get a little more roundness from your face once you've already got it all carved in there. So let's see, what we got to do next is we're going to put the band on it. And let me grab a pencil real quick. All right, so we're going to put the band and the buckle on now. So depending on how you want yours to be, first thing I suggest is draw the square buckle first. So draw out your buckle where you want it to be. Okay. Get the buckle to the size that you want. And put your outside lines on there. Okay. And then come inside and draw the little border of the buckle. Inside like so. Okay, and then draw your band in. Okay, so I'm going to come inside the buckle a little bit, and I'm only going to make the band as wide as this part of the buckle right here. So just continue that around, and it don't have to look perfect. Go halfway towards the back, then come on this side and go around. Sometimes when you try to draw it completely around, it's harder to meet up with it, and it ends up not being the same. But if you draw it towards the back, you can make them meet. And even if it's off a little bit, as long as you have pretty much the same width all the way around, Even if it's sitting in there a little crooked on one side or the other, it's not really going to affect anything. It's still going to look good. So bring that all the way around. Start over here. Bring it back around. And you can always make it the same going around. Okay, so next we'll just take a little V-tool, or you can do it with your knife. I like to start out with a little V-tool, just to lay my lines in there. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it with the knife, since in case you don't have a V-tool, we'll do it with the knife. Just cut a nice line all the way around. And stop right at your buckle. And come to the top. Same thing. Follow your line all the way around. Till you meet the other one. Okay, now you can just come back with your knife and just cut up to it. Leave it alone around the buckle first. Don't even worry about getting too close there yet. You don't need very much. You just need it to sit up a little bit higher than your hat. Just push real easy up to your stop cut. Just so it stands up a little bit. That's all you want. Turn around, do the same thing on the top part. Go easy, because you can chip it right off and you'll have a big chunk out of your band, and you'll have to change the size of your hat a little bit. Cleaning it all off and starting over. But if you got a nice stop cut in there, for one, it'll help when you're painting. And it'll also come out pretty easy without breaking off. Okay. So now on the buckle, we're going to go back and we're going to do the same thing. This time we're going to come all the way across the outside of the buckle. Put a nice, good stop cut in there. Okay, same thing at the buckle. Come around, take it down a little bit. All right, and then where the band comes in to the buckle, take a little sliver. Take that little chip out right there first. A little chip out on all the corners where they meet. Little chip right here. And it depends. You might want your buckle to really stand out. If you do, just make it deeper. Okay, and then right where the band comes into the buckle, just take a little sliver off right there. Just a little bit of a sliver. So it looks like it's going down in there. Okay, now the last thing is the inside. Same thing on the inside. Make a little cut, a little stop cut all the way around the inside of your buckle. And then just take a little bit out, not as much, because you want it to look like the same height as the belt, as the band going around. So all you really got to do is take a little sliver out right there, all the way around on the inside. You don't want to take out too much, because then it won't look like it's down in there. It'll be too deep. So just take that little sliver out right there, all the way around. And you can even leave the middle part. You don't even really have to take any out of the middle. Just take that little sliver all the way around. Okay, that's pretty much it on that. It's pretty easy. Here we got a little chip right here we got to get out. Now the last thing is blend your hat into where your cuts were, so it looks like it's all one piece, and you don't see your cuts all the way around. Just go a little higher and gradually fade it into that first stop cut all the way around, so you don't have humps. Okay, probably take a little bit around here, a little bit more. Just clean it up a little bit. And there you go. There's your buckle and your band. Go back and clean off all your pencil lines. You can clean it all up. Okay, we need a couple, let's see, we need a couple notches in here. So where the fold of the hat is, just first off, put you a good little stop cut right up in there, a little V cut, so you get that folded over look. All right, and then put you some more V cuts kind of randomly in here to give it that fold look. And you can even run it all the way underneath of here. Just randomly put you some notches in there. Put like one more right here, little one. One more over here. And you can change the angles of them a little bit. And there we go. Okay, I like it. See up here at the top, I kind of rolled this in a little bit to give it that little notched, little fold over notch right there. You can roll it. Or you can just make a V-cut right there. As you can see, I kind of got it folding, curving over this way a little bit. Got it curving in a little bit on the bottom. I think I'm pretty much done with the hat. Give it one good last look over before you paint it. Okay. Now we're gonna go glue it real quick, but I probably won't show you that process because it's gonna take a while. But I'll tell you what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically put some glue here, all up in here, around this little lip that I left in here, and then all the way up to the top. And I'm gonna leave my pegs in there. I got lucky, I didn't have to take my pegs out, carve them out. They come out a little bit right there, but no big deal. Put glue on it, and then I'm just gonna use a few C-clamps and C-clamp it together. Now, here's another thing. Two things actually. Before you put it together, if you don't have an airbrush, which I'm assuming most people don't have, go ahead and paint this inside black before you glue it. Just paint that inside black. All in here, all in here. And you can even do the teeth if you want, and the insides of the eyes inside here. And that way, if you get a little paint on it, you can just erase it with your knife if you come outside a little bit. But it's really important to do that. See how, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you can see I did the inside mouth of mine, and that really helps with the light. So paint the inside before you glue it. I'm going to clamp it together. The other thing is, when you clamp it together, make sure you clamp up here real good. Squeeze it really tight, get it all up in there, but don't clamp real tight right here in the center of the face. All right, I got some little C-clamps that I put on here, and I kind of put one right here, and I put one up here, just over this fat part of the wood, so that way I didn't crush it when I clamped down on with my C-clamp. All right, so be careful there. You don't want to C-clamp this real tight. Plus, if I do it right here in the middle, it's going to push this out a little bit, so it's not really going to get a good tight groove. So I'm going to put a C-clamp here, a C-clamp here, and a C-clamp up here, and I'm going to glue it down, and I'm going to let it dry till the morning, and then we'll put the grooves in it. We'll make a groove right here where these seams are. This will be painted black, and once it's glued tight, you'll barely see it. So I don't know if you can barely see it on this one, but the paint pretty much hides it on that. The second, I just put a groove right where that glue line is. So another thing is, when I glue it, I'm going to take a brush and some water, and after I got it all clamped up, I take a brush and some water and clean all that excess glue off of there, because you'll have to end up carving it off of there because the paint won't take to it. All right, the paint usually won't take to the glue. So make sure when you glue it down, you don't have a big bunch of runs coming out of it. When you clamp it, you will, but just taking a wet cloth or a brush. I use an old paintbrush, a little small paintbrush, and some water, and just wash it kind of off on the outsides all the way around the seam. That'll help out a lot for when you get ready to paint it. So, all right, that's all we'll have left to do once it dries, and it'll be before the end of this video. You'll see that dry piece. We'll just come back and cut our grooves in here, and we'll be ready to paint. Okay, so I'm in my finishing room here, and this is where I glued this baby up. So I used 3 clamps. I had 2 little metal C-clamps that I used, and I clamped them on the sides, as you can see, so I was over top of the hardwood. solid part of it. You don't want to clamp right here because you're going to snap it and break it. So clamp it off to the side, and these little C-clamps worked great. I think I got them at, like I said, Harbor Freight. Then I had this little quick grip here. Irwin quick grip clamp. I got a few of these. I use these a lot for different things. Alright, so the glue we used, I just used Gorilla Wood glue. I use this for just about everything. It dries in a natural color to the wood, as you can see. You can barely tell that there's a seam in there. This one, it was a little wider, but it ain't no big deal. You're not going to see it by the time we paint over it. So yeah, I'm going to clean it up a little bit and clean these pencil marks off, and we're going to get it ready to finish up. Put the grooves in there and paint it up. Okay friends, we're pretty much ready to finish this dude up. We're going to put our grooves in here, and then we're going to move on to painting. I already went on and cleaned everything up, and I think I got it pretty much like I want. Gonna put the grooves in here. So I went on and drew the lines on there. So I'll show you how the lines are. I went on the corners, down the center where the glue joint is. Then on the back I did two curves, one going this way, one going that way. Then curve on the end, line down the middle. So all we're going to do is we're going to take our V tool, and we're just going to cut a little V up this dude. Follow this thing up. And that pretty much is going to hide your glue joint right there. And then the top we're going to paint a darker color, so not too worried about the top little groove. Just cut your V in there and make it as deep as you want. If you've got some wood left, you can go ahead and make it. Clean it out pretty good. Give yourself a nice wide groove there. Or you can use your knife if you want. Use your knife. But we're just going to go around all these lines and mark them out with the V tool. And then if I want to make them a little deeper, I can go back in with my knife and clean them out, round them out a little bit. Basically, I'm just going to mark it with my V tool. So go around all your grooves, mark them in. Make sure you put a little curve to the back ones. That helps it, since we're kind of flat back there, it helps it give it that little bit of roundness just by curving in my V. And like I said, I'm going to go over and clean this off once I get a little deeper. Just mark them in how you want them. And I'll definitely be going off camera to clean them up a little bit, but I'm just trying to show you how to get them in there, just to mark them. and where to position them. I didn't put any on the face just because I think that kind of takes away from the face, and I didn't want to groove down the middle of my face. But if you want to put a short groove down there, that's fine. You can do that. Just put it here and put it here, but I'm not going to do that on mine. I like the way the other one turned out, so I'm going to do everything pretty much the same. With the only differences being the face is a little different and the hat's a little different. But I hope you guys enjoyed this series of videos. Like I said earlier, I got some more Halloween stuff coming up. Probably most of this month will be Halloween stuff. So that way you can... My wife loves little decorations all around the house, so I'm going to do some crazy stuff. But these turned out really good. I'm real happy with them, and I'm sure you'll be happy with yours once you get them all completed. Like I said, I try to do this one early so you'd have time, because it is a little bit of a time-consuming little project here. I probably got 4 or 5 hours in on each one, but it was just basically, you know, doing it so I could get a good video out for you guys. But there's the grooves. Like I said, I'm going to go in off camera, clean them all up. I'll bring you back. We're going to paint this dude, and this is going to be the final video for this series so we can get on to something else. All right, guys, I'll bring you back when we're ready to paint. Okay, I think we're ready to paint this guy. So what I did was I put some tape over the eyes right here, just so when I spray the inside, it's not going to spray out. And I think I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to try this fluorescent yellow that I have and see if that makes it glow a little more coming out the eyes. And I'm going to use some, especially at night, like if the lights are off and it's sitting in the windowsill, see if it glows a little more. If it don't, I don't like it, I can always go back and spray some more black over top of it just to hide it. But I thought I'd give it a try. I don't know if it's going to work out. I started to spray a little bit of fluorescent orange in there, but I just wasn't liking the way it was covering. So I'm going to spray all this inside, give it a little, see if it'll give it a little glow on the inside. I'll probably take a couple coats. But I think it's gonna glow with the light a little better. Especially along the back, I want to try to get it real good on the back, and that way it will, I'm thinking it's going to glow. Okay, I'll let that dry for a minute. I'm thinking it'll glow. I don't know, folks. Trying something new here. Like I said, I can't really mess it up, because I can always go back and spray black over top of it if it don't work. I think it is. I think it's going to work. real good and dry in there. Hit it one more time. So I've been trying some different things with these transparent paints, and I'm really liking it. And I'll show you in a minute. As soon as we get this all done. Hit it one more time on the back side. Just to use up the paint I got in the brush. One more little drop. There we go. Okay. I'm going to let that dry, and I'll bring you back and we'll get started painting the outside. Okay, we're going to peel this tape off. And we might have to come back to touch a little bit inside the eyes. Let's do that. Let's do that now. Let's put a little bit of that yellow on there. Yeah, I think that's going to glow pretty good. All right. Not too worried about where I come outside a little bit. I think the orange will cover that up. All right, so colors I'm using. By the way, that was a Createx airbrush paint. Okay, and it's called Fluorescent Yellow. And you can get these at Hobby Lobby if you want to try some of these fluorescent paints. Or just these transparent paints. I painted the other one with a transparent paint, and I really liked that I didn't have to water it down a bunch, and it still gave me that washed look. So I was real happy with the way that one turned out. And I do have reducer that I can put in here if it's not thin enough, but I think it's going to work fine. I can also add water. Either way, you can add water too. I think I bumped my camera a little bit. Let me straighten it back up. Okay, but yeah, you can add water too, to thin it out. But see what it's going to look like. Oh yeah. So this way I can still get that washed look, because I have a hard time with the consistencies when I paint and using the water. But I found that using this transparent paint, look how thin that goes on. I don't really have to thin it down, and I can get that washed look. So it's just a transparent orange made by Createx as the company. And I know when I use like the apple barrel paints, they're really thick. So you really got to do a lot of reducing, and it's hard to get a consistency. And if you run out of paint, you know, I don't know, it just seems like I have a hard time with it. It's probably just because I'm inexperienced with the painting part of it. But if this works out for me from now on, this is what I'm going to paint my cowboys with and everything. Just because, look, I don't even have to thin it down. This is straight out of the bottle. I mean, my brush was in water. I kind of stuck my brush in the paint and just moved it around just to make sure that it was consistent. If you hear my cricket going off over here, he's down there in my drain. I have a floor drain down here in my studio, and that stupid cricket. Always starts chattering when I start to do a video, or if I'm painting. But I hope you guys like this project. I know it took a few videos to get it out, but I really wanted to spend the time, you know, to go step by step and show you guys the steps and how I created this. And I hope you'll make some and enjoy making some. It was a fun project. I don't normally like to carve things twice, but this was kind of just an idea that I came up with. I think I had seen it somewhere else before. Somebody did something similar, but I was like, man, I'm gonna try to make some of those. And when I did, I was really happy with the way it came out. And I said, yep, I gotta make a video and share this with my carving friends. And I try to get it out early in October again, like I said, so you can get some done. Because trust me, I've already had like 3-4 people say, I want one of those. Will you make me one of those? And I said, well, I'm not making any more right away, because I got to move on to some other stuff, but I will make you one. And yeah, it's been a fun project. And I know the videos were long, and I know that there's in the videos I'm having some trouble with my GoPro, and it gets overheating on me. I think that's the battery is going bad, or something wrong with the battery, but it's overheating on me, and it just shuts down without any warning. So I have to take a lot of breaks and let it cool down. So I gotta try to figure that out, and I gotta try to figure out my breathing, because I hope that don't annoy you, but I know it probably does. But it does me after I hear it. It's like, oh my gosh, I gotta figure that out. Sounds like I'm on a breathing machine or something. But I think it's because I have this camera so close up under my nose and my mouth. So I apologize for that. I'm gonna try to figure something out. I mean, this GoPro I'm using has a great camera and a great microphone on it. It's just almost too good. Alright, so there's the orange. But yeah, I'm going to try to fix that for you, so you don't have to suffer through that all the time. It even annoys me, so I know it's got to annoy you guys. But stick with me. I'm trying to give better camera angles. Everybody wanted better camera angles, and I think I've done that. I think I've got some good angles. And sometimes I use two different views, because I always have another camera running, just in case something happens that I miss a part in the video. I can always switch to the other camera, but it's a different angle. So I've got another camera that I'm trying, and I'm going to try to use the audio off of that and see how it sounds. So I don't have to use the audio right up under my nose. But I appreciate you guys being patient and not complaining about it, but I know it's annoying, and I'm going to definitely try to fix it. I thought about holding my breath throughout the whole video, but I think I'd probably pass out. I've had quite a few broken noses, so my nasal sounds are coming from my broken noses that I've had in the martial arts. I've got quite a few broken noses. But there you go. Look at that. Look how that paint comes out. That's pretty cool. I hope that that yellow works out, that fluorescent yellow. I think that'll be cool. So again, I'm using transparent. They're transparent airbrush paints. And airbrush paints are really not much different than the like the apple barrel and the folk art paints that we buy at Walmart and at the hobby store. They're acrylic-based paints, water-based acrylics. And it's the same ones I use when I airbrush fishing lures. But the difference is they're just considerably thinner, so they'll spray through the brush. And they're a little bit more expensive too. I think that's going to do it. They're a little bit more expensive, but I can't really run those apple barrel paints through my brush. Some people can. They say they can. They just take so much reduction that it's a hit or miss thing. So I've been finding these airbrush paints working really good for my wood carving painting too. So I'm probably going to stick with these. Alright, I'm going to do something a little different on the hat too. The hat band, I'm going to do a fluorescent green on that. See how that stands out against the black, and hopefully glows a little bit. Just consider the cricket as like background music, so it ain't so dead silent. At least you can hear the crickets. So when I ain't talking, it's crickets. Oh, I think that's going to look cool, especially with the black around it. So these are called Createx paints. I've got two different brands that I use. There's some called US Art Supply airbrush paints, and there's some called Createx. Createx makes a brand of different types of paints, but they're all pretty much acrylic water-based paints. And the thing I like about them is all the different colors that are available. Okay, and I can go around this top of this band. I'm going to do my best because I'm going to put the black on it. But you can get them online. Amazon's got them, or you can, like I said, you can find them at your Hobby Lobby. I mean, this is kind of a breakthrough for me when it comes to painting on wood carvings, because that's what I struggle with, I think, is painting them and getting a smooth balance. I always end up running out of paint or not getting it thin enough, and it ends up looking like I just painted solid paint on it. But I like to see that wood grain coming through. That's what's cool, that you can tell that it's a wood carving because you can see the grain still through the paint. Excuse me. Okay, don't forget in between the buckle. Yeah, I think that green's really going to stand out. Pretty cool. So when I got to show you the grooves in there. When I put the grooves in with the V-tool, there again, I wasn't up on top of them like I usually like to be, and I decided to make them a little wider, and then I took my knife and just kind of rounded them over a little bit. And I decided on this one that I was going to go ahead and sand it down, you know, kind of smooth, just so it looked like the other one. So hopefully I don't trigger any wood carvers. I don't always sand things down, but with this pumpkin, as I did the first one and it turned out really well, I wanted to keep it the same so you guys could see how I actually did create it. It's up to you. If you don't want to sand yours down, don't sand it down, you know. But I don't know, I like it. All right, last color we're going to use, or actually no, we got one more color. We got the pearl. So on the buckle, I used pearl satin gold. Okay, and it's kind of a pearlish, sparkly color. And it really made the buckle pop out. Let's see. I'm going to go with, tell you what. I did gold on the other one. Since I'm doing this one a little different. This one I'm going to do pearlized silver for the buckle. Since my other buckle was gold, let's make this one silver. Same thing, create text, pearl silver. And it's got a little bit of a pearl essence to it. So it really looks cool for a buckle. Or a badge or something that you're wanting shiny, look like metal. So we're going with the pearlized silver this time. And that's probably hard to tell on camera, but it really sparkles when it dries. I'm actually anxious to paint one of my cowboys that I got finished with these transparent paints, just to see the difference of the ones I painted with normal paints and the ones I painted with transparents. Alright, there's the buckle. It's going to pop one as soon as I put that black behind it. Alright, last color is black. Hopefully I can get through this real quick before my battery heats up and dies on me. So for black, I'm using my US Art Supply airbrush colors, and this is a deep black, and it still kind of gives it a chalky white or stained look because it's a transparent black as well. But if you're having trouble with your paints, give these a try. Get you a few colors, a few of the common colors, and give them a try and see how they work out for you. Unless you're an old pro and you don't have any trouble painting. Dab a little bit because I think my brush is a little fat and taking up a lot of paint. They look thick when they go on. I was surprised how much it really dried back after I got it all done. Just touch up a few more spots here, but I'm gonna let it dry, and then we'll put them together and see what they look like. Black's kind of hard to tell till it dries back a little bit. I had to pull out of the camera to get up close there, but I think you guys get the picture. So I'll let this dry. We'll put the light in it, and we'll put them side by side and see how they look. I like that green on there, though. Green looks really good. Alright guys, we'll be back in just a few. Okay, there you go guys. There's the finished pieces. I think they turned out pretty good. I'm happy with them. It's hard to tell, I'm sure, on camera how the tea lights look, but I think they look really good. Look really good. The yellow really pops out. Really glows pretty good, but I like the black too. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the project. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next video.